I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts on New Adult for the New Adult blog tour. Firstly, what do I consider to be New Adult? Basically, it's anything that really takes place during college years or university years, so it's kind of from 18 to sort of early 20s. I find that a lot of people presume it's got to have lots of sex in it just because it's NA. It doesn't necessarily. There has been a great big boom of books released that are NA that do have lots of sex in, but I don't think it necessarily means it has to. I have read a few NA books which still do the fade to black thing which YA novels tend to do, so we don't actually hear or kind of see any of the action, if you like. It all sort of happens behind closed doors and then it's just left to the imagination. Sometimes I think that's a good thing because you can obviously imagine what you want to. Other times it's quite nice to read about it, but only if it's done well. But obviously that goes for pretty much anything. It's got to be written well. There's sort of a grey line between what is considered NA and what isn't. Books such as Roomies and Fangirl, some people consider NA because they're kind of that year where you're sort of branching out on your own and it's that sort of period in your life where you try a lot of new things. Other people still consider it to be YA. Some of my friends, which I know, don't consider New Adult to be a thing at all. They refuse to believe it is its own classification. I'm not really sure where I sit on this line yet. Most of the NA are kind of contemporary romances, so I'd like to see a lot more variation within New Adult in order for it to become a thing. Young Adult is only really kicking off here, so I think New Adult would have to have a lot more variety and a lot more books published before I can consider it to be separate on its own. As for now, it's kind of sort of a continuation of YA for me. One of the other dilemmas I kind of experience when it comes to dealing with New Adult books is where to shelve them. As an ex-librarian, I like everything to have their own categories and I want things to be shelved properly. Sometimes in sort of charity shops where I see children books or young adult books kind of shelved with the adult, it frustrates me, and it quite often happens at my library as well. I do think it's a good idea to integrate what they call that crossover type books where it's sort of young adult but sort of adult and they can kind of fit into both, that it allows adults to try it, and I do think for New Adult that's a good thing as well. However, I do find there's a lot of inconsistency and it would be nice if you're looking for a particular book you actually know where to find it. I know that a lot of New Adult books such as Cora Carmack's series and Abby Glines' series are shelved in the erotica section. I think this is a big no-no because a lot of New Adult books don't actually have that much descriptive sex involved, so people who find it in the erotica section might very well be disappointed. I've seen it in the YA section, which I think is fine, but I do think that it might be inappropriate for slightly younger readers. I've found it in the romance section, which is kind of okay because most New Adult is romance as well, so I can kind of give you that one. Or just in general adult fiction. But then again, for those kind of people of New Adult age, will we necessarily be looking in the adult section? Should it have a space of its own? I'm not really sure yet, but let me know what you think. Do you consider New Adult to be a whole thing? Do you think it's mainly romance because of the sex, or do you think New Adult can be anything to do with it between the ages kind of 18 and mid-20s? Where would you shelve it? Let me know what your thoughts are because I'd be really interested to hear it.